we will mute everybody, and if you have questions, please put them in the chat, and I'll try to answer them as we go or at the end, okay? So maybe I can just start by telling you who I am. My name is Marlene Sellebråten, and I'm French, as you will hear, with my very thick French accent. I've lived in Sweden for 8 years, and I have a very varied background. I started as a journalist, as an analyst. I worked with marketing. I work with online publication, lots of websites, and talent attraction in the past few years. And the reason I started these workshops is because I have worked with content online. I optimized a lot of websites, and then I went to. I have also recruited a lot of people, and I've worked with LinkedIn quite a lot. And LinkedIn is really good. Well, a talent, a recruiter, or a business. I think there are lots of things we can do when we think about LinkedIn as not only a profile page, but a website. And that's where I come in, putting the two together, recruitment, talent, and that's one side, and then a web. So maybe we can, and I run a company called Exponentials, which is also a company working with recruitment and inclusion training for organizations. So that's where we are now. So what I propose to do is basically to present LinkedIn very briefly. Then I will go through a few of the main parameters that you find on LinkedIn. And then I'll go through a few things that you can do to optimize your profile so that actually jobs and recruiters, hi, welcome. So that, hi, just I said, we recorded, so you'll be able to watch it later. And then if you have questions, put them in the chat. Thank you, welcome. And then I will tell you a few things about how you can optimize your profile so that recruiters and jobs will find you. So, and then, as I said, I will answer a few questions. So we can go to the next slide, Katie. Do you want to say a few words about yourself, Katie, maybe, and Impact Hub? Sorry.
My name is Kathy. I'm the head of operations at Impact Hub Stockholm. We have a global network of social entrepreneurs and people who have businesses that try to make the world a better place, basically. It's interesting in this sort of situation now to see how we can use our resources and network to help people as much as possible. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'm happy to hear them. Welcome.
And I'm a member at Impact Hub, so it's really good that we can collaborate on that. So basically, LinkedIn, you all are maybe familiar or less familiar with LinkedIn. You know, it's if you're looking for a job, or if you're looking for talent, or even if you're looking for leads. If you're a company, it's a place you have to actually go to, master, and interact with. So basically, one of the two main purposes of LinkedIn, what people use it mostly for, is to identify prospects. So if you're a company, try to find leads and things like that. And it's really effective for B2B. So it's much more effective than Facebook and Twitter. Facebook and Twitter have advantages to do other things. But if you're looking for prospects, then LinkedIn is really a good place to do that. And then the second main use for LinkedIn is obviously for recruiters to find talents, and for talents to find recruiters and jobs. So 90% of recruiters are basically on LinkedIn. There are lots of tools which are made available, especially for recruiters, which you don't really see in the front end, but that you can use in the back end to identify talents and find talents. So LinkedIn is quite big, 575 million users. That's a really big network, and pretty much half of it, almost, use it every month. So that's a very, 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 very big usage. And then in Sweden, we are 10 million, and 30% of the population is LinkedIn. So that's There's a noise. Can you all confirm that you hear me well? Or does everybody hear a strange noise? It's good now? Good. Okay, then I just continue. Then we can go to the next slide. If you have questions on this slide, please put them in the chat. And if I go too fast, just tell me, because sometimes I go very fast. There are a few things that I would say I would share as well my personal experience. Great. I've had jobs find me. I have people contacting me all the time with LinkedIn. I've found leads. I've found gigs. So I'm very, very convinced that it's a good place to be in if you're a talent looking for work. But what is important to understand with LinkedIn, and that's the same as probably when you do a paper CV or like a PDF CV, that you always ask maybe to personalize it for the job you are looking for. That's a bit the thing. You have, before you put all your thing out on your profile, you have to think about the job you want to have and the employers you want to reach. And that's where you have to do quite a bit of homework before you actually work on your CV. So what I would recommend anybody to do is not just putting, oh, I have done that and that's it, is to look for type of jobs, the next job you want to have. Look at the wording for this job. So for example, if you are working in marketing and maybe you want your next job to be in marketing as well, but maybe you were a marketing manager. That's an example. I think nobody's working in marketing, but that's an example that's clear to me, so I hope it's clear to you. And you say marketing manager, but hey, you look at all the jobs around, they are not looking for marketing managers. They are looking for growth hackers. They are looking for, customer excellence journey manager, or, it could be anything. So the job you have had is not necessarily the job title that is used by the employers right now when they are looking for people in marketing. So that's where you have to look for the type of jobs you want and the type of words that are used to describe these jobs, because these are the keywords you will need to have in your profile. And you have to look for the different employers maybe you find attractive. Many people think, oh, I would like to work for this company and this company. I personally don't, but I know that many people think about that because many companies have done really good work branding themselves. So they have become very attractive, which is amazing. So if you think about, oh, I want to work for Volvo, or I want to work for Dagens Nyheter, or I want to work for Forbes, or I want to work for, Facebook, then you have to look at the ads they have for jobs and how they are wording them, because they will have their own jargon and they will use some words, and they are the words you will have to have in your profile for the jobs you are looking for. Are you all following right now? I hope you are. If there is any question, just put them in the chat, please. So basically, that's the thing. You have to look for the job you want to have, and you have to find the keywords. And these keywords, you have to place them on your profile. And how it works as well to show up. Everything in LinkedIn is important. If you think about LinkedIn not as a place where you put your profile, but if you think about it as a website, then you understand how LinkedIn works. There is an algorithm that pushes some posts up, that pushes some posts down. There are keywords that will push your profile up and down. Every interaction you have on the site will push your profile up or down. Every group you interact in will push your profile up or down. So everything you do basically has an impact on how much your profile will be shown to the right people. So then one thing I will go through the next slide. Actually, I put together 2 slides to show you directly on the screen where you have to go. So, but the first thing you do, and that's quite important, obviously, when you are in an employment, you don't necessarily want people to know that you are looking for a job. Or if you are redoing your profile, you don't want everybody to get a notice every time you have changed a line in your profile. So what you do is that you go on your icon when you have your picture, your little picture on the right hand corner, and there you can go to your, I will show you on the next slide, you can go to your privacy settings, and then you will, exactly, so thank you, Katie. So you see up there, there's a place where you have access privacy settings. You click on that, and then if we go back to the slide before, so there you go to how others see your LinkedIn activity. And what you do is that until you are really doing the last touch, signaling that you are ready to be somebody that people will look for, then you have to put no to people sharing your job changes, education changes, and work anniversaries, etc. And you have to click on no on that one. So otherwise, all your network will get a lot of notices about what you're doing. And if you are already in an employment, then that could possibly create a bit of problem for you, because people will know that, oh, why is that person fiddling with their profile right now and updating? So it's good that you turn it off until basically you are ready to update your headline. So turn it off all together, and when you update your headline, then you can turn it on so that people know you have updated something, and they should look for what's happened with you. Have you got a new job, or are you looking for something new? Something like that. So we can go to the next. Could I just ask you all to, in the chat, saying that you are with me and that I'm not going too fast? So if you just put like a thumbs up or a yes, that would be perfect. And if you have any questions at this point, maybe you can just drop them in the chat. Perfect. Are you still all here? Yes, good. Great. Perfect. Good. Let's go on. Thank you for letting me know. So here are basically a few key areas. Oh, well, hello, Antonio. You're very welcome. We are recording, so if you have questions, put them in the chat, and you'll be able to catch up on the beginning afterward. Okay? Thank you. Let's get on with it. So this is the main page. This is my profile. Here are a few of the key elements. One of the key elements that you have to choose is the language. You have the good thing now with, and it's up there, you see it here. I have my primary language is English, and my secondary language is Swedish. So you basically click on the little icon on the side, on the right, and there you will be able to choose your primary language and your secondary language. And that could be very interesting, because some people, for example, in Sweden, sometimes my profile will show in Swedish for people using a Swedish LinkedIn, and sometimes it will show in English. So it's good to have both, and you can switch between both of them. When you update one of them, you will be asked, do you want to update the other one? So that's quite a good thing to have if you're in the country. And I think most of you here are actually at least bilingual, and you are probably coming from another country and maybe using English or Swedish or another language. That's a good thing to do. And I've worked a lot with translations, and I've worked as a journalist in different languages, but I find that for LinkedIn, quite frankly, take your profile in English a little bit, put it in Google Translate, and try to just correct it so that it's a good second language level. And so you can do that very quickly. Another thing which is quite important that many people don't think about is that you are searchable on the internet with your LinkedIn profile. So it's very good if you have the right URL. So under the language, you have edit public profile and URL. And there you can actually edit your URL. Normally you get a name plus a number, but there you can put your first name and last name, so that you have really an identity, just like you have on Facebook. You have your name normally after the facebook.com/sv/ then you have your name. That would be the same. So I would recommend you to actually have the right URL with your name, your full name, so that if people are looking for you, they will find you. Access privacy settings, then we did that before. I'll just check if there is, yeah, good, no questions so far. I'm going a bit fast, but I think everybody seems to be okay with the pace, so I continue like that. Very important online, but like anywhere else, is your profile picture. So there, actually you can have any profile picture you want, but you will have to look professional. But it has to as well not only look professional. I mean, it could be different things. If you're a climber, then you can look like you're climbing. If you are a tourist guide, then why not have something which is touristy in the background? That's all right. The thing which is important is that it looks serious. You have a smile on your face. If you can show your teeth, it's even better. Don't ask me why, but pictures with showing faces where you show your teeth are more appealing to people. So, but if you can have a smile at least, that would be great. I don't like my teeth, so I don't really show them a lot, but I have a smile, and then it should look like you are basically positive and ready to work, and it should look professional, and it should be in adequation with basically the job you're looking for. And then you have your background picture. I do a lot of content, and I've done a lot of content about, my last article is about Nepal and recruiting and stuff like that. That's why I have that picture. But maybe you want to have a picture that is, you can have a message behind if you want, something that represents you, or you can have just a background picture that you think is fine. It shouldn't distract anybody. Nobody pays really big attention to it, but that's the first thing you see when you go into a profile. So it's quite good to know. Then you have this add profile section. This is basically where you will go to complete your profile. I won't go into details here, but this is where you will put your education, your jobs, and I will tell you how much you should put there, but not exactly what you should put there. Then if you look here, there is the featured company. That's the company, basically, this is my company today, but I work as well for the European Commission. I work for Vinnova. That they could be the companies that I want to display there. There you can display the company you want to show as the one that represents you right now. It's a fresh thing, your LinkedIn profile. So you can change that as well. If you think that you don't want to have anything, then you don't have anything. Sorry. Yes, what do you display if you're unemployed? Now you have, so the question was, what do you display if you're unemployed? I can answer that right now. you display nothing, or you display your previous company, or maybe you are doing some volunteering work, you could display that. Um, I'm going to go on to the headline. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what you do if you're unemployed. Oh, sorry. There was another question. Yeah, it's one company that you can display there. And I'm going to the headline. The headline is basically, you will see a few people. I'm going back to your question about what do you do if you're unemployed? I understand this is tricky. There are two schools. Some recruiters think you can still have your old job if it has gone less than maybe 3 months. Some recruiters find it not representative and not very honest to do that. But it's okay. Maybe you can show more than one company, but I think you should show one company. But I think you should show one company that basically is representative of who you are and what you want to show to your next employer or your next gig or your next business contract. But if you go in the headline, we can go back to this question a bit later if I haven't answered it correctly. So thank you. So the headline, yes, if you have just left your job, and it hasn't gone so many weeks, maybe you can just keep it as it was. But I would say that the headline is your biggest marketing window, because this is where the keywords that recruiters will find in their search engines will appear. This is where the engine will search first, in your headline, and then in where you are open or not. That's also something very important. And then in the resume about you, which I will go through afterwards. So basically, the headline is it doesn't have to be your current job. It can be what you actually think your key skills are, or the next job you want to have. I take myself now as an example. I redid my CV to my profile a little bit just to show a few things. For example, entrepreneur is, well, that's the ground of what I'm doing. I run a company and I'm an entrepreneur. I've had companies before. And then I'm also working as a gigger. I work as a freelance journalist, and I work as well with content strategy. So, and when you look in your profile, you can see how many people have looked at your profile today, and how did you end up in the search. There you will have information about, but you ended up there because you had a strategist in your profile, or you had content strategist, or freelance was the keyword, or entrepreneur, or keywords that are on other parts of your profile, and mostly in the About You section. So there you have the possibility to put the job you have right now, and if you don't have a job, put the next job you want to have with the skills you want to promote. Don't put, by any means, looking for opportunities, because you have to think of LinkedIn as a website. When you are looking for a talent, which keywords will you be looking for? Will you be looking for opportunities? No. You'll be looking at freelance, or you will be looking at content, or you will be looking at marketeer, or marketing, or growth hacking. What's happening with the slides? Thank you. So just to answer a bit the question about if you are unemployed, don't put that you are looking at for new opportunities in your headline by any means, because it doesn't help you. There is no keyword. No recruiter is looking for opportunities. They are looking for your skills. but you can put it. There is no shame in putting it in your about you section that you are looking for new opportunities. But please don't put that in your headline. Then you have. Are you all with me? I hope. Sorry. Oh, good. Thank you. I'm just checking if there are any questions. Yeah, good. So yeah, I think that's a really key. And that's something that actually came from recruiters. If you ask them, it's just like, just don't do that. So and think about LinkedIn as a marketing platform for you. And it's a marketing platform. It's online. You have to think about how are people looking for you, and which keywords are they using. These are basically the two most useful tips you can get from me. Is that think about how they are thinking and how they are looking for you, because that's how you optimize a website. You think about how do people want to use our services? What are they looking for? You don't put out the brochure of your product. You put out something that they are looking for, like how you solve their problems, basically. Yes. Great. Okay. Very good. So I was just checking the chat at the same time. I was going further. So then you have as well in the. So are we all clear on the headline? Any questions there? You can put them in the chat and I'll check them out. Oh, great. But again, I think really this is your window. And again, think about it as a website. When you open a website, the what we call the top real estate, which is like the top of the window, this is your 5 seconds of glory. You show what you want to show, and it has to be really crisp, and you have to show it really fast. If you don't attract attention there, basically people will Tinder you back and forth. so it's your window there. So, and then you have the open or not. I'm going down. If you have more questions, just put them in the chat and I'll take them later. I've added a few things here just to show you how it works. You can do that through your privacy settings. There, you can change, if you're open or not for opportunities. If it doesn't display here, but when here I put that I was open, so here I have the editing button. But basically, that's not something that your employer will see. That's not something that your friend will see or your contact will see. That's something that recruiters will see. Of course, you could have recruiters in your company, but there are a few finesse. You can maybe exclude a few. I won't go into details into that, but there are a few exclusions you can have. But there, it's as well a very good place for you to have keywords more directed to the type of job titles, not necessarily the sector, but the job titles you want to have. So here I put a few things that like editor-in-chief, because I've done that, editor, marketing, content, business development. All these, oh, sorry, that's the section open or not, Antonio. And that's open to here, exactly. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, so and that's to signal that you're open to job opportunities. So, and here as well, all the job titles I've chosen, LinkedIn helps you suggest, the correct ones. There are also such keywords that will appear in the recruiter program when they are looking for, or if they are looking for business development, then if that's on my open or not section, and maybe it's in my headline or it's in my about you, then I probably will end up higher up on in their engine. Oh, one thing I forgot, which I'm going back to right now, actually, about the keywords again. As I said before, you have to do your homework before putting your profile. You have to look for what employers are looking for and how they are wording it, which words they are using, because these are going to be your keywords. The same is when you look for a job. Just give me 1 second. Oh, I didn't do that. Okay, when you look for a job or when you apply for a job, and say that you have a premium account, which I quite frankly would recommend anybody to have if you are really seriously looking for a job. You can have it for a month. You don't have to have it for such a long time. But a premium account will let you see a lot more things about when you are looking for a job. It will let you see, and I'm not selling for, but I just find it really useful. That you can see how well you match the job requirements, how well, and these are just based on basically keywords. So all the skills that you have put, I will go back to that later, all the skills that you have put, if they match the keywords that are searched. But when you look for a job, you have to, when you apply, before you apply, you can look at the skills that you have already as keywords in your profile. And if there are a few which are really key in the job description, in the advertising, then you have to add them as skills in your profile, because you will end up higher up in the recruiter engine. I'm not sure I was very clear about that. So I'll take it once again. If you find a job on LinkedIn, look through the ad, look through the job description, identify all the keywords that they are using, check if the top keywords are also in your profile. If they are not in your profile, try and have them in your About section or add some skills. And the skills, you add them again in the Complete Your Profile section up there, just below the banner picture. Add profile section, there you can add skills. And skills as well, people can help you just verify your skills. But this is important, that every job you look for, and if you have the premium, then you will see, oh, you are matching 70%. Yeah, I will get to endorsement later. It is important. Sorry, I got distracted by your question. It was a very good question. Every job you look for will tell you a bit more about the job market. So learn from it and amend and add things to your profile so that you match perfectly. Every job you apply to is a way for you to learn a bit more about the job market and the job you want to have, and where you fit and where you don't fit, and companies you like and companies you don't like. And even if you don't get the job, it's a learning thing, and you think, okay, maybe, to me, it's a 50-50. If a company doesn't want you, well, you weren't meant to be together, then you should be happy, basically. That's a refusal is never a bad thing, because you learn a lot of things along the way. But I'll move on then on the Open or Not. And About You section, and by the way, many of these things will be in the presentation that I will send you afterwards, okay? In the About You section is the same. Here you have a possibility to really talk about what you go for. And there you can actually have a lot of things. This one, my profile right now, it's mostly about my company, entrepreneur on top. So I leave that as the first section in my About Me section. So I talk about a bit more personal about who am I, why am I doing what I am doing, what are my motivations, what are my passions. And then there you can as well have a lot of keywords. So, for example, here I don't have my profile in front of me. I'll just do that so I can tell you what I have on it. Just bear with me 1 second. No, can't see my profile. That's tricky. Okay, so so basically, first I say, oh, that's what I'm doing now, and then you can have some keywords already there, and again, that's a marketing platform for you. So don't be shy, and say, well, this is what I like, this is what I'm good at. You can as well say, well, this is what I'm looking for. Have some keywords, and then you can say, and I'm also interested in this and that and that. And that's where you can say, if you're unemployed, you say, I've done this and this and that. I have that much experience, and I want to work for a company that does that in that sector, and I want to do that, and I want to learn that. Learning is very important. That you are keen to learn is very, very important. No matter if you are 20, 40, 60, 70, doesn't matter. You just have to learn because the job market is very dynamic, and we all need to learn all the time. So you can have that. It's never negative to have that with you. And then you will as well there at the bottom of the section be able to say how you want to be contacted. So that's a good section where you can be more free, talk a little bit more about your persona, your personality, and your passions, but as well use a lot of keywords, because they are the keywords that will also show up in search in the recruiter platform. Maybe we can go to the next slide so I see if I have forgotten something. Yes. Yes, and I did forget something. So one thing which is also quite a common mistake is that you have a LinkedIn profile and then you have a PDF or paper profile that don't really match. So that's quite important, that when you edit the one, you edit the other one too. So it's good that you have matching. At least the fundament of the paper profile should take things that you have on LinkedIn, so recruiters don't get confused to have two different things. Then on the paper profile or paper CV, you have a lot of possibilities to actually change your, for example, your about you section. I think you should also have an about you section in your paper CV, which should be very short. And there you have a possibility to change it depending on the jobs you are looking for. And the same for your headline. You don't have to have as your headline the job you have today. You should have the job you want to have tomorrow. And there you can change it. If I take myself as an example, I am a profile that confuses recruiters because I can, I've been a journalist, I've been a marketeer, I'm an entrepreneur, I've been an analyst. That's very confusing. So it's very, very important to be open with it. But that also gives you the possibility to look for different things. And of course, if I look for an editor job, if I were to look for an editor job, then I wouldn't use a marketing profile. But all the experiences you have, the work experiences, the hobbies and stuff, you don't have to change them, but you can just reassort them so that you put all the marketing on one hand and all the editing on one hand, and then you have your profile section saying a few words about, if that's a marketing job, about the marketing job, and the headline that as well is in line with that. So you have a bit more flexibility. Thank you so much, Angel. With the LinkedIn profile, of course, it's a little bit more one size fits all, and that's why you have to have all the possible keywords you need, and maybe as well be sure that you are matched against, I mean, the keywords are matched against really the jobs you are looking for right now. So it's quite dynamic. So we went to the URL, we went to the picture, the complete profile as well, and which is in sync with your paper profile. So good if you have in the edit section where you can add your details. It's good if you have the location you want to work in, your current role, you can have it, or your last role. Another thing is, if you're looking for work, you still have the possibility to do other things while you're looking for work. You can it's very easy, for example, to freelance if you want to. There are companies where you can, you don't have to have a company to do that, or you can just leave your last job as a top job, but you don't have to lie about when it ended. I mean, everybody changes job at some point. That should be less dramatic. So industry, location, current role. If you can have 2 prior roles, and also you don't have to have all the jobs you've had. You need to have the relevant ones. It's good if they are if you have one after the other. But I mean, everybody has a life, and some people, sometimes they take a sabbatical, sometimes they have kids, sometimes they are at work. These are perfectly good reasons not to have the very filled hole in your CV. I think that recruiters are getting a bit lighter on that, because there is a lot more weight on balance between your working life and your private life. So it's getting less and less dramatic to have like a hole in your CV. And then when you have a hole in your CV, you always have the possibility to do volunteer work here, help with something else. It's just very positive to just show that you are keeping active, or helping other people, or, being active on LinkedIn, like sharing the experience you have. You get prompts sometimes, oh, you seem to be really good at that. Would you give advice to other people? Being open to that as well, that's always positive. Your education, your key skills, that's really important. That's as well what I mentioned before. Lots of keywords that you can use, and then your connections. Let's see the next slide. If I put on the recommendations, if we go to the next one, that we have done. Yes. So you were asking about recommendations. So I would say that skills, recommendations, and groups are quite important, and even posts and articles and commented articles. I will go through that quickly, but feel free to ask me some questions if I don't answer everything. If you want to have connections who are in relation to what you want to do or what you have done, I mean, building your network is very important. Having said that, it has to be a qualitative network. Your contacts are as good as the help they can provide when you actually need them, and they are as good as the help you can provide them when they actually need you. So you have to think carefully. If I'm connecting to that person, am I readily available to help that person if they need my help? And can they help me? It sounds very interested, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, it's just that if you get lots of requests, you want to make sure that your network is of good quality. So you want to be sure that you have people you can help and people who can help you in your network. Because that's the whole purpose of the network. Or people who are not interested in anything right now, but people who have like good connections who could help you later on, or people who want to connect with you because you can help them. I think it's a give and take. It's very important that you are ready to help the people you are connected with, and not only ready to get help. Because the network, it's both. It works both ways. But if you want to add connections, I would say, A, you have to have a profile picture. B, try and introduce yourself if you ask people to connect with you. Because why would they connect with you? Maybe it's very easy. They check your profile and they see, oh, we have 15 contacts in common, or we are in the same groups, and they see your profile and they see, oh, this person has done that. Oh, but that's interesting. We have done similar things, or maybe I could help that person, or maybe they could help me. Then they will accept. But I think it's always good when you try to connect to people you actually have never met, is actually to tell them why you want to connect with them. I don't know how it works with you. I get lots of connection requests. And if there is no profile picture, or if the person no connected contacts with me and doesn't say why they want to connect with me, it's very difficult to actually accept a connection. But otherwise, I accept a lot of connections, even from people I have never met. Just they present themselves, and I see that we have something in common. Maybe I can help them, or they can help me. So recommendations given and received, very important. They will, that as well will, we don't have blockchains right now to secure our skills and stuff like that. So the best we have is recommendations. And in Sweden, as you know, the personal network and recommendations, it's like 80% of the jobs you're going to get are through a network. So of course, if you can, and it's as important that you give as to receive. It's again the same thing. This is not a place where you just take stuff. You should give stuff, obviously, and help promote other people who think I've done great things. Then be generous, but be sure that you recommend only people you really can stand behind, because it's also your reputation. But that will help them. And then if people you have worked with can recommend you, that will also push your profile up. It gives you credibility. And there I would say that the good thing is if you could have a mix of people who have worked with you as co-workers on the same level, people who maybe were, if you have worked in a company with a hierarchy, then people maybe were under you, or people were on top, were above you. So that you would have a mix that, gives an idea to a recruiter about how you are to work with, how are you as a boss, how are you as a direct report, or how are you as just a co-worker. And don't hesitate to ask people to basically say, oh, if you have worked somewhere and your next job is about, you need a specific skill for your next job, and that's what you want to push, or this is where you want to develop yourself, then ask people, I know we worked together and we did this and that, but it would be great if you could accentuate that I did that project. People are very happy. People are helpful. I'm sure you are helpful too, so people will help you too. So don't be shy. And then when there is a system to ask for recommendations in LinkedIn, so you will send ask for a recommendation. The person will decide whether they do it or not. Don't hold it against them if they don't. It's very personal, a recommendation. And then if they do, they will send you a recommendation that you can look at, and you can ask them to edit it if there is something you think is detrimental to you, or if there's something missing. So they can edit it, and then you can decide to publish it, or you can decide not to publish it. And then even if you have published it, you can take it away at any time, and you can republish it at any time. So that's for recommendation. Skills, again, I went through that before. Put them in your headline, in your open to opportunities, and in your about you sections, and then in the specific skill section. And there, I'm a bit confused myself. I should know better. But before, it was a lot easier to ask people to endorse your skills. Um, Now, sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't show up. So I'm not quite sure what's happening in that section right now. Quite, I'm sorry to not have that answer. I'm happy to look into it again and send you the answer where I have found out why it is like that. Groups, again, it's a very good place where, so again, you should change groups if you change jobs or you change direction in your professional life. You shouldn't be afraid to leave some groups, and because there is a limit to how many groups you can be a part of. So go into some groups. There you can that are related to the job you want to find. And try and be active if you can. It takes a lot of time, so you have to decide, what's my LinkedIn time budget, what's my investment in that, and then see, in the groups, when I write a comment or where I write a little post, then I get some likes and I get some interactions, I get some new contacts. Every interaction you have on LinkedIn will push your profile up or down, and will connect you with more people. And that's the same for posts and articles. This is a really good way for you to promote yourself. And there is as well an algorithm behind. I'm going to wrap up in a few minutes, but this is very important. So I'll take a few more minutes if that's okay with you. If you have to go at 14, go, and then you can watch the video. Okay. So don't feel that you are being rude if you have to leave. It's okay, because we were running a little bit late. So posts and articles, of course, not everybody feels confident or comfortable, to put your opinions out there, but you can start, getting used to it. If you are not comfortable, you can start liking a few things. That's easy to do. Maybe for some people, it takes a lot of courage to do that the first time. Just try, I like that post and I like another post. Try and follow people that are influential in the area you want your next job to be in, and try to see, how do they write about things, and what are they talking about, and what are people discussing in the comment sections, and just try to learn a little bit what they are doing. And you can start with a like here and there. Think about the likes. People in your network will see what you like. Some of them will see that. And then you can start maybe daring with a comment. So a little comment, that's a very good way to engage also with influencers. If you engage with somebody who has a little network, it will give you little reach, but maybe with exactly the right people, if they are exactly in the right area for you. If you engage in a comment section with an influencer, it might be you are a little fish in the sea, but it could be that somebody who is influential on LinkedIn will like your comment, will read it, then that will push your profile up. So that's a good way to start writing and getting out of your comfort zone if that's not something you're used to. And when you feel comfortable with that, then you can maybe, instead of writing an article to start with, you can share a link. Links are really popular. You can share an article that you have read. Not only just sharing it like, I just share it and I put nothing. You could share it and say, this is an interesting read, or this is worth thinking about, or that got me thinking, what's your take on it, if you want to try and involve people. Don't be sad if nobody answers. It will take some time. It could take some time, or maybe you will just hit the jackpot directly. You will hit a stroke and some people will engage with you. So every time you take these steps, your profile will basically go up in the algorithm. And as well, if you have, for example, if you post something which you think is, then if you go to the next step and you post an article, you can write an article or a longer post with something, your own reflections. You can ask your very trusted contacts to actually take a look at it and say, oh, look, I posted that. You can send them a message. I posted that. What's your take? Could you interact with me? Because what happens is that when people actually like or interact with what you do, your post suddenly gets shown to more people. So there's a network effect in LinkedIn, which is really important to know, is that the more people interact with you, the higher your profile will show up. And the same goes with your articles. If you post your article and nobody looks at it, then maybe a few people in your network will see it. If somebody like it, then few more people in your network will see it. If people start to comment on it, a few more people in your network and outside of your network will see it. If it gets viral, then the post will go through outside your network and will be posted on LinkedIn, So the more interaction you get, the more popular your article is, the more people will see it. So it's kind of a virtual circle, but you have to start where you find confident and comfortable, and not everybody will feel comfortable, and that's okay too, So that was for the pushing your profile up. Maybe we can look. I'm not sure I have any more. That's all. Should I look at the questions you had? I hope I was clear. I hope it was not too many things or too little. I mean, there are so many more things to look into in LinkedIn, but I hope that was useful. Yeah, in the industry, I think there was a very good questions. Is there a way to see the most popular keywords in the industry? I don't know if there is anything. If there is anything I can look into it. I should have the answer. I don't. If there is a keyword section for just LinkedIn, but there are a few tools you can use online anyway. If you go on Google and you look for SEO tools, that's search engine optimization, you can have a few add-ons on Google that will tell you, if you look for one word, will tell you all the other words that are being looked up. Then on Google, if you look for Google keyword search, that's a very, very easy. It's free. It's open to everybody. You put your keyword on it, and it will tell you how many people have been looking for it in Sweden or globally or in the UK or in Uganda or wherever in Brazil. And then you can look at other keywords that are related and put them into that section on the Google keywords search. And it will tell you which other keywords are important. I have to look into whether there is a function like that on LinkedIn, but not on the front end anywhere that I'm aware of, but I might be wrong. So thank you. And thank you all for appreciating the advice. Did I miss any question? Oh yeah, could we go back to just show the slide with the section where you hide where the network there. So basically you go on your little icon on your main, if you are on your main profile, you have not your big picture, but the little icon of your profile. And there you have settings and privacy, or privacy and settings. And there you have to go to the second section, which is how others see your LinkedIn activity. And then you have to go to the section share job changes, and then you choose no. So that was the answer to that question. Okay. I hope it was useful for you. There are lots of comments here. It seems like I didn't go too fast. You understood what I said. It was useful. If you have any more questions, I'll send you all my slides so you can look at them. And there will be my mail address there. And if you have any questions about Impact Hub, I leave the mic to Casey to say goodbye. I say goodbye myself to you. Good luck. And I leave the last words to Kathy.
Thank you all for joining us. I hope you learned something new today that you find helpful. If you want to connect with Marlene on LinkedIn, feel free to do that. And ask for a recommendation or engagement if you need help getting out there. I wish you the best of luck, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kathy, for enabling the workshop. Thank you. Bye, everybody.